Hey everyone, Brian here. Okay, I'm continuing work on the truck's front end conversion. I wish I was putting a Noma 4-wheel steer underneath here instead of a straight axle, but maybe in the future. But anyways, I am just reinforcing my front end. You're maybe wondering, you got a T-framed, or saying I-beam frame front end, why do I gotta reinforce it? As you can see, I had clearance it right there. The other tractor, the steering arm comes up from the bottom, and this one has to come through from the top. So instead of flipping over my stock rod, I clearanced my I-beam front end, and I just finished welding two new pieces of round rod right there to each side. All they're going to do is just keep it nice and strong. Basically, the material I cut out, I basically welded back in with a new piece. It is cast and this is steel, but it seems to be welding okay. I have welded steel to cast before. It's actually, I don't mind doing it. It is a little bit difficult. It takes a bit to do. You just gotta be careful that you don't overheat it, that you don't crack it. Which I think I'm okay. It's quite cold out here. I'm not going to stick this in the snowbank to let it cool. I'm just going to let it naturally cool as well. I might even bring this piece in the house to let it cool down in the house. But I think it's almost cold now. Yeah, it's still a little hot. But it's not hot. It's hot back to here. So I think I'm okay. I think mainly what you gotta do is make sure you don't let it cool too rapidly. Because then that's what will make it crack. Or it's only like -1 or -2 out here right now. So even if I put it back on, let it cool naturally, it should be fine. I'm not going to be putting any weight on it. I'm just going to put it back in, and I'll put the spindles and tires back on it tomorrow. I also had to reverse the lower tie rod that ties both spindles together, so that had to be reversed as well because it was running into the steering arm. Basically, if your steering arm's on the bottom, your tie rod has to be on the top. If your tie rod's on the top, your steering arm has to be on the bottom. So, or else they will interfere with each other. But I got full range of steering before I pulled it back apart to weld it. I wasn't going to weld it on the tractor, no point. Take it out to weld it. I had full range of motion. I had to pick up some washers because this here, the bushing is not quite long enough. So I got everything ready to go now to put this all back together. I'm going to spray this with some black spray paint as soon as the weld's all cool. But I think my welds don't look too bad really. I'm happy with them. I got real good penetration at each end and then along the center. I'm going to have to clearance it a little bit more in the middle. It's still rubbing a little wee bit. That's the main reason why I wanted to weld this in. But there's only really one spot where it went all the way through down to barely down to the centerpiece. So it should all be okay. I'm just going to run over it quickly with the grinder, clean it up a bit. I found my grease gun, so I'm going to be able to grease these spindles back up nice and good and go from there. The tires that are going on here, they're a little bit sidewall cracked, but they're better than anything else I have right at this moment in time. Also, if this front end, even if I was to run stock tires, it will still be higher in the front end because this has the drop spindles. It's not a straight axle. It is actually a little bit bigger, and also this is more beefier than what I was running to begin with. So I'm happy with that. So we're supposed to get a storm tonight, so I'm gonna tuck everything back underneath the tractor here. Like I said, probably put it back to. I'll put it all back together tomorrow, and go from there. And yes, these tires are actually exactly the same tires that are on the GT. So that's pretty much it. And before anyone asks, so why didn't I save this front end for the GT? It's the same axle, but the spindles are different and the tie rod is different. That uses a completely different setup. This one uses similar to every tractor built nowadays. That one there has a much beefier front end, so it's a little bit beefier than this. It's a little bit different setup. I'll have to do a video on it someday of how that one's set up. It has dual tie rods. That's all I'm going to say right now. It's actually a very similar setup to some Murray tractors. But so that's pretty much it. So talk to me later. Please keep it redneck like always, and please subscribe and comment.